back to Forza Horizon 4, where we have another new car, another week here on the game. We didn't have anything last week in winter, but moving on to spring we have another Holden. Of course, in autumn and summer we had the other Holdens. We had this one in summer season, and in autumn we had a slightly older one. But if you haven't seen the videos on either of those went up a couple of weeks ago on the channel. But this week we've got one in the middle, 1996 HSV GTSR. So, yeah, somewhere in the middle of the two. But this one under HSV rather than Holden. I think we've had the 80s one was under Holden, which I'm not quite sure it should have been. But anyway, this one under HSV, so obviously older than the two generations we have here. So older than the 2011 and 2014 cars that we already have, but it is effectively the same car. Yes, it's the R, so it's higher performance, I guess, than the equivalent, which is the S, but being an older car, it's going to be slightly lower performance. So anyway, it's 308 horsepower, 1,629 kilos, it's a 5.7 litre engine, so yeah, let's hop into it, see what it's like stock. It won't be massively fast because it's in B class, and then we'll see what upgrades and customization are available for the car. So again, with this one, as with all of the other cars in the update, it's a copy and paste job from Horizon 3. It's not a new car for Forza, so it's a little bit of a shame they're all like that this season, and they're all very similar cars as well. So, as you probably know if you saw the other videos, I complained about that quite a lot. So it's going to be a very similar story with this. It'll probably be quite a short video because there's not a lot I can tell you if it's a car we've already had. It actually doesn't feel too slow for a B-class vehicle, as it is in its stock form. Maybe built up to A-class or something, it might be quite good for racing. It's hard to tell really. But yeah, it's not the fastest thing in the world. It's quite a basic interior. I mean, basically it's a saloon car with a big mad engine and a rear wing on it, which is brilliant and I love it. But like I said, as with the previous cars, I have no problem with the car. I really like these things. I just dislike the Forza's copy and paste cars that should have been in from the beginning. Let's face it, if they're in the previous game, they're just keeping the files back and releasing them as if they're new stuff, which they aren't. So that's my only complaint. But yeah, I love the car and I'm happy it's here, I guess. We might as well have all the cars that we had before. And yeah, it's just as well Forza's going to up the garage limit because we're beginning to run out of space. But anyway, we will fast travel to the festival and see what we can do to this car, because it's not amazingly fast as it is, so it's probably worth throwing a few bits on and seeing what it's like when it's modified slightly. So, upgrades. What visual upgrades do we have? I'm guessing Forza Aero. Oh no, there's wing removal if you're mad. Because I don't know why you'd want to take off that. There's a V8 and a V10 swap. There's your usual all-wheel drive conversion. And your other upgrades. So you know what, let's throw a supercharger on. I feel like that fits this style of car quite well. As always, I will do my tyres. Full width. We do have track width on this car, which is good. Obviously in Horizon 3 we never had that option. So that's quite cool. I never bring the fronts out quite as far as you can, because they end up sticking out further than the rears, which looks very weird. We're going to end up being the top of A-class. I think that's what I'll do. I'll build it, leave it rear-wheel drive, but put it top of A-class. That's kind of what I did with the 80s Holden we had a couple of weeks ago. I won't do a roll cage because I still want seats. I'll leave weight reduction alone as well. Let's put some more power into it, which is probably the last thing it needs, but just very quickly throw some bits on. Okay, let's not do those, because that immediately puts it into S1. There we go, 800. Can we sneak on a cooling on a flywheel, maybe? There we go. Yeah, we'll see what that's like. 400 plus horsepower in A-class. Not too bad. But yeah, obviously left rear wheel drive, so it's not necessarily going to be competitive like this. Right, shall we see what the wonderful community has come up with in terms of designs and paints? And then not put any of them on and make our own. Well, make our own. Paint it a nice plain colour. Yeah. And not too bad actually this time. What are the colours? Oh, we don't actually have any other colours. We did red on the last one. Should we see if we can make a nice blue? I think that looks quite nice. Very quickly thrown that colour together. But yeah, not too bad. We'll see how the power is, whether it's undrivable or not now. I maybe should have changed the wheels. They're a bit... They kind of make the car look a bit dated. But yeah, we'll see if I've put a bit too much power in and it's a bit oversteery, because it is still rear-wheel drive, don't forget. I know I've done the track width and stuff. And race tyres, so it shouldn't be too bad. But we will see. But yeah, like I said, it'll probably end up being quite a short video, because we did have this car in Horizon 3, so there's not a lot of new anything that I can show you or tell you about. Obviously I can tell you about the car, but probably all already driven. That is a very wobbly wing, look at that. I didn't notice that before. That's a Horizon 4 thing. We never had that back on Horizon 3, or definitely not that much. Sounds quite good. I can barely hear that supercharger. It does look good in the blue though, I do like that. I would quite like it in red, but with the GTSR, with the R in red lettering, it kind of doesn't show up enough on the red. So I think blue's quite nice on this. Nice contrast to the red we've got on the 80s one. And the yellow that we put on the 2011 car. Really mixing up the colours. But yeah. This is obviously the last car in this update. It's the last week of the cycle, so it'll be interesting to see what Forza are going to add next time. Obviously you've had all the clues and stuff out. But I haven't really taken a look at what people's guesses are on those yet. So we'll have to wait and see what they... I kind of like to just wait and see what they announce, because I can never figure out those clues. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully it's not a themed month again. I like it when they vary things up and put at least one new car in, even if they're going to put some recycled stuff in there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And obviously we get our car limit increased, and the not resetting you immediately after you fall over thing that they're supposed to be fixing as well, so that's all going to be good. But yeah, we wait to see what cars they're adding. Hopefully we do continue to see new cars, because obviously this game is getting towards the end of its lifespan probably now, of new stuff like that being added. Because obviously the new motorsport's probably their focus at the moment. But yeah, hopefully we do see some more cars being added, as well as the other bits they're doing in the update. And yeah, we do now have the garage space for them, so... Anyway, that is going to be all for a first look at the GTSR, which isn't really a first look, because we've all driven it in Horizon 3 already. But yeah, as with the other cars, I really like the car, but I feel like Forza needs to add new content if it's going to call it new content. All the cars from the previous game should have been in at launch. Obviously, Toyota was a bit different because they didn't get the license, but then when they did, they should have put them all in. A bit like they did with Mitsubishi. Anyway, they do continue to add stuff, which is always fun to come in and test out, even if it is not really new. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's video, taking a first look at this car. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.